guys? We're live. Yeah. We're back. This is it's not as early as I normally stream, but it's nice to actually be back at a time that's halfway normal. Halfway normal. Sammy, Cole. All right. We have everything's done until reset, but I think the only thing I'm doing here is the only thing that I've kind of behind on that may as well kind of try to get caught up on, are all of the Icon Chronicles Hexad. They're not completely autoplay, so they do require a little bit of attention at times, unless you just want to replay them a few. I think I've had one or two matches that I've actually had to play, but we'll just see how this goes. We'll at least get about 20-30 minutes of FC Mobile in. There's nothing else to do here. I have been complaining a lot lately. Pepe!
Well, tickle muttedies. FIFA Mobile Pepe just
Thank you.
resubscribed for 36 months. Finally, I caught you, Liv.
3 years. 3 months. I have been complaining a lot lately about the state of the game and what I have perceived as what's holding it back. And that is 100% the god-awful lack of anything to do when we have these events that are the events in the game were always one of the most important parts of mobile, which is what differentiated mobile from console. And that's been my complaint. Oh, that would have been so good. That's been my complaint for a long time. And just recently, I've been making it more and more vocal with talks to the dev team. And I am bound not to, I'm not allowed to repeat anything that like what happens when you talk to the dev team stays with the dev team. You know, it's like Las Vegas, but more lights and less hookers. But I can, I feel like I can repeat anything that I've said. Fuck it, I just feel like that's fine by me. And my complaint has been that they have pretty much lost the script when it comes to what makes the mobile game a game that we want to play. And the argument that has been used against that is that the game has changed, but I haven't. Like there's been a shift in the game, and it's not what it used to be. It is evolved, but I haven't, which is fine. Okay, I mean, it's kind of shitty, but it's fine. The game has evolved, and I have not. But I argue that what we have now is not an evolution of the game. It's not that the game has evolved. The game has been watered down. There's no evolution here at all. There's nothing more about this. It's you, not me. Yeah. It's it's not that the game has evolved. It's just been watered down. There's nothing to do. There's no cerebral elements to this. There's no intellect. There's no intellect required for any of this. And when I say these things, it's you know, I was told that I'm like the old man sitting in the chair talking about the good old days. And I get that. I do agree with that to an extent, but it's not like we're talking a long time ago. This isn't, I mean, there's just nothing here that requires any intelligence. And what we've always had before is there was the Asian versions of the game. Asia had their own game. Because gaming in Asia is different than in the rest of the world. And we had a global game. The development changed hands, and from the Asian model and the global model, this Asia model became the global version. And what used to be a game about building ultimate teams and paying attention to the events and having all of this base content drive the mobile version to separate it from the console version, that has gone. And now what we have is a watered down console variant. A watered down console variant that is all about gameplay, with the events and every other component of the game being set aside to make way for this massive gacha component that it's all about pack luck and opening packs and that. And every time it's brought up about anything like a reset or give us choices in the events, or anything along that line, is we're basically hit with, that's not what our core demographic, the new users in the Asian market, want. So we're suffering on a global side of things because they're building this for one specific region where a lot of people can't afford or are unable to play the console version for gameplay. And yes, most streamers saying that, but most of the established legacy streamers have either quit or have adopted this and do feel this way because they do see the change in what's going on. But I can attest that EA are constantly adding new streamers and are putting their attention behind new streamers out of the Asian market that are the ones that are finding the game that we have right now suiting their audience. And I think the rest of us that have been here since the beginning, that are now the old men yelling at clouds, are being set aside to make way for the new ones who are happy with the gacha game component and just opening packs because that's what it's doing for them. I mean, I'm not going to quit the game and I'm not going to quit complaining, but it gets old after a while, this whole shtick of it's just that the game has evolved, but I haven't. And I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that's complaining about this, but I am hands down the one that complains more than anybody. There's no doubt about that. I complain more than anyone. And I hold back nothing. There are a lot of people there's a lot of streamers that complain to EA that they're like, oh, the game's pretty good. It's an 8 out of 10, but I'd really be better if, blah, blah, blah. I'm not like that at all. I'm like, fuck your game. It's a 2 out of 10. And I'm frustrated because we still don't have any of the base content was promised to us, 2 years ago. None of that's here. We still haven't gotten any of it. And I joked the other day that dealing with the EA developers when it comes to this stuff is gameplay this, gameplay that. It's kind of like they're the salesman trying to push the electric version of the Mustang SUV bullshit off as a muscle car. Like, no, it's not. And all your gameplay it's just like they're arguing that it's okay because it has more cup holders than the old Mustang. It fits 4 people now, not just 2. It's got a back seat and a big trunk because it's an SUV. But no, we don't want an SUV Mustang. We don't want an electric Mustang. If we want an electric car, we'd go buy a Rivian. Because I'm tired of being the old guy that yells at clouds. Because I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like I'm just arguing that either call it like it is and say that, oh, I'm sorry, we decided to make this game for India. Just call it like it is. Just say it's Indian FC Mobile, but everybody can play it. Or quit bitching, and it is what it is. You're glad I said Rivian? Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. That Mustang is exactly what this is. Who would buy that Mustang on purpose? It's someone who it wants a practical Mustang. Well, then don't get a Mustang. If you want if you need gameplay and you want FC Mobile just for gameplay because you can't afford or don't have access to the console version of the game, that's on you, not me. I don't know. It's frustrating. I can't wait until there is a game that can compete, because it really wouldn't take much at this point to be able to compete with this. Yes, I do find the gameplay superior. I enjoy playing like these AI matches and stuff. They are worth it. I enjoy playing them. But without there being a purpose to any of the gameplay, there's really no point in any of it. And that's something that should be as simple as just like how hard is it? You can only charge it on electrified magnetic. Yeah, them are always broke. Yeah. Mood. Welcome. Here's a true story about the electric Mustang. My boss, the owner of the company I work for, has always had, I think when I first started working there, he had an Audi and a Jag. And the Jaguar he had for a very long time, but he loved his Audi. And he became obsessed with the Audi. And it was just, every couple of years he got a new Audi. He had, Quattros, he had a Quattro wagon, TT, just, it was always Audis. And he shows up at my office a few years ago. This was right before the Mustang was released. And he said, have you heard about the Mach-E, that they're making a electric Mustang? He's like, I've always wanted an electric car. Something I've wanted, and I think I'm going to get one. So he left, he went over, he purchased a Mach-E. This was before they were released. This was like 6 to 8 months. I think they had a couple of pictures of it at that point, but they were taking pre-orders. He ordered it almost, so he had to wait about a year before the Mustang was available. So he comes back down. This is like a year later. He comes down. He's like, hey, I get to pick the Mustang up today. That's awesome. And he lives out of state. He lives, he has to fly in. So he flies in, and he's going to pick the Mustang up, and he's going to drive it 15 hours home. He's all excited. He leaves. He goes to get the Mustang, and he shows back up. And I'm like, well, let me see it. I want to take a ride in it. You guys show me this thing. This was when they were first released. And he's like, I don't have it. It's like, why? What happened? He goes, I made him give me my money back. What do you mean? Like, what happened? Did they not have the color or what? And he's like, no, they had it. They had it all ready and prepped and washed and ready for me to come in. I refused it. He's like, I refused delivery. This is not what I wanted. This is the ugliest goddamn car I've ever seen. I don't want it. You can have it. And he said, I'm not taking it. So he left it. He left it at the dealer and said, I want every penny I put into this thing. I want the down payment back. I want it all, or you can talk to my lawyer. Because this is not what I was promised. And he walked away from it. He did end up buying an electric car, and it is not a Rivian. It's a nice car if it wasn't an electric Mustang. I mean, I guess it's a nice car compared to other things, but not if you're wanting a Mustang. All right, there we are. That is one round done. All right, I think... Did I get everything done? Is everything done? Or did we just have reset? We just had reset. $96 untradeable. Don't care. All right, let's go ahead and switch over to raid, because I think it's time for some raid. That's about all I can do with this. We're going to switch over. We're going to take a look at the main account for a few minutes, and then we'll dive into the free-to-play. I have so much we can do on the free-to-play. So we'll talk about the promo that's coming. So don't go anywhere. The stream's not ending. We're just switching games. But this is going to be it for FC Mobile. I'm finally he sleeps. As long as you guys keep watching, I'll keep making videos.